Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei is son of well-known fallen angel? Part 2. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Issei bid farewell to the girls, then made his way to his room, avoiding his mother in the process, and now is beginning to wonder just how cool would it be to have his own weapon and kill Issei with it. Come to me. Claim my power, a voice says before disappearing in the silent wind of the night. Who's there? Drake. Vritra. Is that any of you guys? Issei asks his dragon friends, and they both reply no. Issei decides to shake off the words of this mysterious person for now, at least. I can't help but feel like something's out there, calling for me. Maybe tomorrow, I'll find something out. Now's the time to get some sleep. The boy thought to himself as he then goes to sleep, dreaming of a better future where his father never existed, and that was a victory in his sleeping eyes. Now. A few days later, the voice that Issei heard a couple of days ago sometimes came back to haunt him. At school, he was fine since it was mostly a whisper, but at home, he would suffer like never before. It was like putting a drill inside of his head and never stopping the noise until the drill exploded and remade itself just to continue this annoying sound. Because Issei is a fallen angel and holds 2 dragon-based sacred gears, his senses were greatly heightened as per his request to Drake and Vritra the second time they met. He wanted to be sure that no one could sneak up on him, so now, he's training his senses so he'll be able to tell when someone is lying to him. He had trained with the girls of the kendo club, but he still kept winning, much to his disappointment, since he felt like he wasn't getting any stronger when he was training with humans. Issei contacted Azazel a while ago for training, and while it took convincing from Baraquiel and Penemu, he eventually accepted as long as they were willing to put in the work. So he made sure that Issei trains with Akeno and Rainer every day after school, so that they could become stronger, but today is going to be different for Issei. What do you mean Akeno can't come train with me today? Issei asks Rainer, who gives him a shrug of her shoulders, not knowing what to say to ease the situation. She told me that the Gremory girl asked her to stay behind today. That was all I was able to get before Gremory's knight came in and kindly told me to piss off. I apologize, my lord. You may punish me as you see fit. Rainer says as her mind then goes into one of her weird fantasies which involve Issei, her, a dead Issei and a whip. Ugh, is there anyone here that isn't crazy like you? I told you, I won't do that. I need her so I can figure out the source of my headaches. Issei says before clutching his head in pain. Issei-sama. Are you alright? Rainer asks, uncertain of what to do in this situation, so she decides to hold the hybrid until his pain passes away. Issei manages to stand up, then the two decide that enough is enough and they should go see Akeno, since she might be able to help them with this small problem. The two head over to see the one person in charge of Akeno's school life, Rias Gremory. The young sister of Surzich's Lucifer, one of the 4 Satans who participated in the First Great War. It was time to have a talk with her and show her who's boss around here, and it was certainly not her. Because what is a devil to a dragon? Orc building. After 10 minutes, the two were lucky that Akeno mentioned where the orc building is if Issei ever wants to go see her and do some special training. Issei blocked out the rest of the conversation since it didn't hold the information he needed. He contemplates knocking on the door or just leave, since he might just land himself in a world of trouble by just having a conversation with Rias, but this wasn't the time to be a coward and chicken out of this ordeal. It was time to evolve, to become something better. He would be better than the White Dragon Emperor, he would be better than the Gregory, he would be better than the 4 Satans, he would be better than the Archangels, and he would be better than his own parents. If his mother wasn't such a weakling, then Issei wouldn't have to abuse them all of their lives. They would be free from him and his crazy ambitions to prove that fallen angel are the supreme beings. No more. I'll show my power, then I'll rip out his fucking spine and dance with it and watch as he dies a slow and painful death. I will watch as you scream for death, but not even Hades or any gods for that matter can save you from wrath, Issei. You will die when I say you can, that is the most love I can give you as your son. Issei thought to himself as he then kicks the door down and is greeted by a sleeping Kaneko, Gasper hiding in his box, Akeno serving tea to a troubled Rias, and Kiba is brooding in a corner nearby. It's time to make the first move. Hello, are you Rias Gremory? If yes, then we need to talk. Issei says, not willing to waste any more time than necessary. Seek me now or you will die. Seek my power, the voice shouts in Issei's mind, making him clutch his head in pain. Are you alright? Who are you anyway? Rias asks as she comes closer to Issei, but Rainer stands between him and the Gremory girl. I won't let you hurt him. If you try anything, I promise you that you will be begging for death's loving embrace. Rainer says as she summons 2 light spears, making Rias, Kiba, Gasper and Kaneko all flinch slightly at the sight of the light spear in the room. Rainer, stop. We need Akeno and find the source of this mysterious voice. I'll repeat myself one last time. Stand down, now Issei says as he finds enough strength to at least stand up. Rainer dismisses her 2 light spears, and Akeno joins Issei's side, grabbing him to make sure that he didn't fall once again. The voice that you hear, where is the loudest place so far? Akeno asks the hybrid, who looks lost in his own thoughts. Go to the place hidden from the world. That is where I will be. The voice says before fading once more. Ah, here. It's the loudest. It's telling me to go to the room hidden from the world. Issei says while trying to walk the pain off but fails to do so. Could it be talking about Gasper? Show Issei your room is. I have a hunch, but if this doesn't work, then we're all doomed. Rias tells Gasper and Damper rushes to his room with Akeno, Rainer and Issei following him like his own shadow. Within a minute, the 4 of them stand before the sealed room, and Issei starts screaming in pain and agony once more, but this time, his eyes, his ears and nose are bleeding, as if he's going to die out of blood loss. Quick, we need to get him inside. Maybe that'll stop the pain. Akeno shouts as she tries to use healing magic, but it doesn't work as the hybrid coughs up a lot of blood and it ends up on the ground, scaring Gasper more than usual, almost as if he's afraid of blood. Or that could end up killing him. We need to get him out of here and send him straight to Azazel-sama. Maybe he could help us do something we haven't thought of. Rainer shouts at Akeno, while Issei crawls to the room without the 2 fallen girls noticing. Gasper opens the door and runs off to see Rias and the 3 others. Wait, where's Issei? He was right there a minute ago. Akeno says as she begins to look for the boy only for the 2 to look at the door and see it's open. Damn it. Gasper must have let him inside. We need to go, and Akeno says as she and Rainer both go inside the door. However, they both start crying their hearts out. Why? Because Issei Haidu has died while touching the sword. Within a minute, the 4 of them stand before the sealed room, and Issei starts screaming in pain and agony once more, but this time, his eyes, his ears and nose are bleeding, as if he's going to die out of blood loss. Quick, we need to get him inside. Maybe that'll stop the pain. Akeno shouts as she tries to use healing magic, but it doesn't work as the hybrid coughs up a lot of blood and it ends up on the ground, scaring Gasper more than usual, almost as if he's afraid of blood. Or that could end up killing him. We need to get him out of here and send him straight to Azazel-sama. Maybe he could help us do something we haven't thought of. Rainer shouts at Akeno, while Issei crawls to the room without the 2 fallen girls noticing. Gasper opens the door and runs off to see Rias and the 3 others. Wait, where's Issei? He was right there a minute ago. Akeno says as she begins to look for the boy only for the 2 to look at the door and see it's open. Damn it. Gasper must have let him inside. We need to go, and Akeno says as she and Rainer both go inside the door. However, they both start crying their hearts out. Why? Because Issei Haidu has died while touching the sword. Now. A few minutes later, Issei's body has been moved to the Orc main room where Rias had her meetings with Sona or her peerage, and both Akeno and Rainer haven't moved from their seats. They were both waiting for Issei to wake up so they could see what happened to his mind when he touched the sword. Gasper is sitting in a corner as he looks in fear at Issei's dead body, blaming himself for the boy's death. The looks of anger from Akeno and Rainer didn't help much either. There has to be a way to save Issei-san. Wait, that's it. I'll reincarnate him into a devil. That way, everybody wins. Issei gets to live, Akeno and Yuma-sen will have their friend back, and I get a new piece. I am a genius. Rias thought to herself as a smile is now seen on her face. She quickly springs her plan into action. Kaneko, go and get my evil pieces. This plan should work, but we need to hurry while his death is still fresh. Rias tells Kaneko, who runs to another, then grabs the chess pieces and comes back to give them to Rias, who gives the Nekashu a small smile. Thank you, Kaneko. Let's hope it can help. Rias says as she gets closer to Issei but is then stopped by Rainer, who summons a light spear. Let's get something clear. I am not letting you turn Issei into a devil. He's already gone through enough, and did you even consider his feelings before doing this? Rainer asks Rias, who looks at Issei and steels herself by unleashing her aura of destruction. I'm doing whatever I can to revive him, and if you prefer staring at his dead body, then I guess you don't really care about him, now do you? Rias tells her, then Rainer drops her light spear in shock, which gives Rias enough time to use all 8 of her pawn pieces. She dumps them all at the same time, then a strong dark aura releases itself from Issei's body, circling his body and the sword, before transforming into a pitch-black monster with 2 horns, a black hole on the center of his chest and crimson hair, as the aura screams in pure glee at the chance of being free. Ria's pawn pieces eject themselves out of Issei's body as the aura goes back into the dead boy's body, which confuses everyone, including Rainer, who has seen the vast Lord-like monster appear out of nowhere. Akeno leans in to listen to Issei's heart, then the miracle happens, 1 beat then 2 beats, and so on until Issei's heartbeat goes back to normal. He would live. Issei's alive, and that was good and all, so why wasn't he waking up? Issei, wake up. Please, wake up for me. I don't want you to leave me. I want to stay here and laugh with you, I want to hold your hand, I want to cry with you when you're feeling sad, and I want to fight alongside you. This feeling, what is it? Why do I feel like this? I just want to see my friend awake from his slumber, that's all. Akeno thought to herself as she looks at Issei, who grips the sword, then tighten his hold over it. The question is, what are you dreaming about, Issei Haidu? Issei's Mindscape. After the aura manifested itself. Ugh, where the fuck am I? Oh great, did Shemhazai revive me or something like that? I was perfectly fine where I was. I would be saying that if I can remember where I was before being transported here. It's probably nothing. Let's get back to Akeno-chan and the others. Issei says to himself before being punched in the face by a mysterious shadow. Sometimes, it disgusts me how you are my other half, but it doesn't matter how I feel about you. What does matter is that we get revenge on Shemhazai and that other fucking bastard. The shadow screams as he begins punching the ground, creating earthquakes throughout the mindscape. Issei stands up, then activates his sacred gears, ready for a fight, and the shadow reveals itself to be the vast Lord monster from before. Who or what the fuck are you? And no games, otherwise, I'm gonna rip your skull open and throw it all the way to the underworld. Now, start talking, Issei says as he starts getting angry about being punched in the face by this thing. Have you ever felt like you couldn't stay angry for long, like no matter what happens in your shitty life, you just couldn't stay angry? I'm the reason for that, you see, I'm the cardinal sin of wrath in all its glory. I haven't properly introduced myself. My name is Astros, one of the generals of Anno's Voldigid's army before he was reincarnated into a human being. Nice to meet you, Astros says as he grips the same sword that Issei took before dying, making the boy look at the general in shock. Astros steps out of the shadows, then he reveals his face, and it looks exactly like Issei's, except his eyes are fully red. I'm gonna crush you and leave this shithole. You won't stop me from achieving my vengeance, that's a promise, Issei vows as he activates the power of his sacred gears and goes into a stance, ready for the fight that's about to begin. Sometimes, it disgusts me how you are my other half, but it doesn't matter how I feel about you. What does matter is that we get revenge on Shemhazai and that other fucking bastard. The shadow screams as he begins punching the ground, creating earthquakes throughout the mindscape. Issei stands up, then activates his sacred gears, ready for a fight, and the shadow reveals itself to be the vast Lord monster from before. Who or what the fuck are you? And no games, otherwise, I'm gonna rip your skull open and throw it to the underworld. Now, start talking, Issei says as he starts getting angry about being punched in the face by this thing. Have you ever felt like you couldn't stay angry for long, like no matter what happens in your shitty life, you just couldn't stay angry? I'm the reason for that, you see, I'm the cardinal sin of wrath in all its glory. I haven't properly introduced myself. My name is Astros, one of the generals of Anno's Voldigid's army before he was reincarnated into a human being. Nice to meet you, Astros says as he grips the same sword that Issei took before dying, making the boy look at the general in shock. Astros steps out of the shadows, then he reveals his face, and it looks exactly like Issei's, except his eyes are fully red. I'm gonna crush you and leave this shithole. You won't stop me from achieving my vengeance, that's a promise, Issei vows as he activates the power of his sacred gears and goes into a stance, ready for the fight that's about to begin. Now, Issei launches himself at Astros, who grabs his sword, then shifts his stance. When Issei closes in, his opponent slashes his chest, sending him flying away from Mysterious. Come on, is that all you got, you so-called son of a Gregory? Astros taunting Issei, who is now in a rage. I'm gonna fucking kill you and drag you and that bastard to hell, Issei or at his opponent. You're welcome to try, Izzy-chan, but we both know that you're too weak to do that. You're just a pebble in a field of big rocks. Astros says as Issei rushed towards him. Consumed by fury, Issei tried to punch Astros, but the general dodge and evade all of his attacks and kick him in the gut, making him crash into the ground. Oh come on. That wasn't the strongest kick for Anno's sake. Just do me a favor, start fighting seriously, or I'm gonna have to do it myself, you little Shemhazai Jr. Astros says as Issei, who's still in rage, begin to stand up. Okay, that's it. I'm going to fucking rip off your head off and use it as a toilet paper. Issei roared at his opponent. You know, come to think of it, maybe your friends did leave you and you're sorry ass for good reasons, but you're really starting to piss me the fuck off, and hey, who knows, maybe Shemhazai's beating the living shit out of your family while you're stuck here. Don't you want to make him pay for what he has done to you? Don't you want to make him suffer for abandoning you? How can you get your revenge when you're so weak? You are a failure, Issei. Astros roar at his opponent, who look at him in shock. You're right, I should just give up, or I can just fucking kill you with my bare hands. Issei shout at the general, who's boring himself from this battle start to swing the sword. You really don't get it now, do you? I'm Astros, one of Anno's Voldigid's generals, the cardinal sin of wrath in all of its glory, and what do you have? 2 gauntlets and 4 fallen wings, just like your dad. Now does that make you angry enough, or do I have to say it again? You will never get your revenge on your dad because you are weak. Astros says to Issei, who's now consumed by a greater fury. Issei clench his fists and grit his teeth in rage, well remember the same memories of his mom and him being attacked by Shemhazai. I'm done. I'm fucking done with this shitty world and you as well, Astros. I'm going to finish you and then I'm going to drag Shemhazai into the deepest pits of hell. No one's going to stop me, do you hear me? Astros Issei roar in fury at his opponent who smile evilly. Good, now you're getting angry, but that didn't save you from Shemhazai now did it? Now, let's finish this. Astros says to his other half while holding his sword. The two launch themselves and continue their battle, then Issei's red gauntlet begin to glow. Boost. Drake shouts and Issei kick Astros in the face, making the general crash, but stop it with his bare hands. Drake Vritra, we need to finish this piece of shit right now and do not hold back. Issei shout at the two dragons who nod. Very well, partner. Show him the power of the Sekiryuite. Drake say to Issei before Astros stands up. Yes Issei. Show Astros his place. Show him the power of a dragon. Vritra say to his partner, then Astros has an evil smirk on his face. Cute, you think the power of two dragons is going to defeat me? You better think again Izzy-chan because after all, I am you and you are me. You're destined to become the true version of yourself, the one who's consumed by rage, vengeance and no mercy, and has no pathetic attachments. That is your true nature, Issei Haidu. Astros shouts at Issei who's in his fighting stance. That's where you're wrong. You may be me, but I will never become like you, and I'm going to escape this fucking world and make Shemhazai pay for everything. That's a promise of a lifetime. Issei shout at Astros who shake his head in disappointment. You know, I thought you would understand this, you will never win. How can you achieve your revenge with a small portion of your power? Astros say to his other half who's still activated his sacred gears. By killing you and once I'm done, I'll drag that bastard to the deepest pits of hell. Issei shout in rage to Astros who smile evilly. Good luck with that Izzy-chan, but like I said, you'll never defeat me. Astros shout to Issei as they resume their battle. Issei launch himself to punch Astros as he cocked his fist to deliver a fatal hit, but the general evades his attack and kick Issei in the gut, sending him flying to the ground, then Issei stands up again and start to attack with anger, but Astros dodge all of his movements and kick Issei in the face, but the brunette give him a cold stare, making Astros flinch. Astros start to chuckle making Issei raise an eyebrow. What the fuck are you laughing about? If you think that you can defeat me and fucking kill me, think again. Now why the fuck are you laughing, you piece of shit? Issei says to Astros waiting for an answer and the general continues to laugh like a maniac. What the fuck so funny? Issei shout to Astros who continues laugh like a maniac. Remember the damn sword that you touched and you inevitably died. Guess what moron, we're trapped until one of us are free from this shithole as you like to call it where in reality, this is your mindscape. Now do you want to finish this shitty fight or not? Astros says to Issei who pick his fighting stance. I'm going to enjoy this, but before that I'm going to fucking kill you and once I leave this fuck up world, I'm going to achieve my vengeance against Shemhazai and that's a promise of a lifetime. Issei say to Astros who has a twisted smirk on his face. You're welcome to try Izzy-chan but like I said, you will never defeat me. Astros shout to the brunette who's now angry. I guess we'll just have to see about that. Issei shout to the general as he's still in his fighting stance and Astros mimic him. The general pick his sword and Issei activate his sacred gears and the two launch themselves at each other, leaving nothing but a blinding light of explosion and particles. Issei's mindscape. Issei and Astros launch themselves at each other before cocking their fist in the back, delivering a powerful clash of their fists at one another and leaving a blinding light at the process. The two of them jumps back from the light and return to their fighting stances. Really Izzy-chan, is that all you got? Compared to Shemhazai, you're the weakest out of all of the fallen angels. Astros says to Issei who's now angrier more than ever before. Don't you ever compare me to that sack of shit's level. Do you hear me? Issei roars out as more of his aura is released, while Astros just looks at him while licking his lips before smiling. Wow, you think getting angry at me is gonna work? You should have done that shit when you were 10 years old and you know, killing Shemhazai. Who knows, you and your mom would have lived a happy life and it would have stayed that way, but then you had to become the coward who has perverted friends and make a new friend who's just like him, but she hates fallen angels and devils. What was her name again? Alright, Akeno. Once I'm done with you, I'll be sure to tell her that you said hi before you die and pound her sweet cheeks to kingdom come. How does that sound for you, Izzy-chan? He says as Issei gets more angrier by the second and another boost is enough to give him the energy to punch Astros in the face. Issei gives a death stare to the general who backflips to stand on his feet. You talk about my mom, my friends like that again, and I'm going to turn you guts into a fucking dishwasher for my trophy. Issei roar at Astros and the second boost from Drag give him just enough energy and strength to launch himself to punch and kick Astros in the gut and the right hook. The generals start to laugh maniacally thinking about Issei's anger, and the more that Issei gets angry by every second, the more he's enjoying it watching the boy's fury. See, what did I tell you, Issei-chan? You're me, and the more you get angry, the more I get to enjoy the fuck out of it. It's like teaching a dog to obey to its master like a pathetic mutt that it is kindle like arena. Astros says with a manic smile on his face as he continued to Issei, who hearing those words release more of his aura and his face shift into pure rage, and his killer intent is unleash, and suddenly multiple boost rays his aura start to rise. I'm going to fucking kill you, Astros. Issei roar at the top of his lungs as his aura continues to rise even more than before, then launch himself to give the general an uppercut in the jaw and kick him in the gut, sending Astros flying 30 miles away from an enraged Issei before backflip and standing up to finish this worthless battle. Astros growls before take a look at his face, and he start to panic as he touches it and see that he's bleeding, which start to infuriate him. You my blood, you have the fucking balls to draw my own blood, how dare you? How dare you? Astros shout in anger as he launch himself towards Issei, who imitate him, and both of their fists aim one another and they start to exchange powerful blows, and Issei grab Astros by the arm and punch him in the right jaw. The general dash in anger at Issei, who punches him in the face, sending him flying 30 meters from the hybrid. I'm going to kill you right where you stand. Issei shout as he dash at Astros with another boost to give him enough energy for strength and speed, as he then proceed to beat Astros completely, but not before long the general kick Issei in the face, sending him flying 20 meters away before doing a backflip, then another boost give him energy, speed and strength, launch himself to punch Astros in the face, then kick him in the gut, sending him crashing into the ground. Astros begin to stand up and he's looking at Issei, who's still furious, before laughing like a psychopath. What the fuck are you laughing about this time? Issei shout angrily at Astros, who stop laughing. You know, I didn't think you were this stupid to make me bleed, and or you were so desperate to fuck Arena, but she's gone, back to her home. Oh well, you got Shemhazai to keep you company. Like father like son, am I right? Astros says Issei, who's now furious about the painful memories of Arena leaving and Shemhazai ruining his and his mom's life. I'm going to fucking rip off your head and send it to the deepest pits of hell. Do you hear me? Astros Issei roar at the top of his lungs as his aura begin to increase, and hearing multiple boosts rises even more, and Astros then laugh like a maniac who has abused sugar. Like I said, Issei-chan, you can try, but we both know that you'll never beat me with those sacred gears and that worthless power of yours. Astros says to his opponent as he returns to his fighting stance with his sword. Astros launches himself as he swing his sword towards Issei with a crazed look on his face, then another boost increases the fallen hybrid strength and speed to evade Astros' attacks. And suddenly, Issei start to feel pain as he grabs his head and Astros begin to laugh evilly. What the fucking hell's going on? Why do I feel this? What the fuck did you do, you piece of shit? Issei shout to his other half, who stops laughing. Well, you see, Dumbus, when you died by touching the sword and you enter your mindscape, the cocoon surrounded your entire body, and if one of us kill each other, that means that they'll be free of the cocoon, and the one who will escape is me. Astros says to Issei as he's finished of explaining the truth that Issei touched the sword. This made Issei more furious as he clenches his fists in anger. It means that he's ready to kill Astros. Like hell, I'm gonna let that happen. I'm going to kill you and leave this shithole and get my revenge. That's a promise of a lifetime, and I will achieve it by any means necessary. Issei shouts as he returns to his fighting stance. The two launches at themselves and they continue their battle to see who will be the winner of this outcome. Outside of Issei's mindscape, the cocoons start to glow red and purple, which means that the fight between Issei and Astros is far from over. Issei and Astros continue their greatest battle as they continue to exchange powerful blows, and their clothes are torn, and their faces are beat up, bleeding, and they're now sick of this pathetic fight that felt like ages to them. Do you ever get tired of this stupid fight? Astros says to his opponent as he's begin to get annoyed. Finally, something we can agree on. Now let's end this shithole so I can fucking kill you. Issei shout to his opponent as he returned to his fighting stance, and Astros hold his sword tightly. I agree, however, do one thing for me. Astros says before smirking as his sword begin to glow, and Issei raise an eyebrow. What's that, you fucking failure? Issei says as he's now getting impatient with this question. Don't flinch. Astros shouts as he begin to release the energy from his sword and swings it before firing it at Issei while laughing uncontrollably, and Issei widens his eyes in shock. The explosion is heard in the battlefield, which Issei luckily escapes from the blast, then Astros kick him in the gut, making him spit blood and sending him flying 10 meters away from the general. Issei gets angrier more than ever about his battle with Astros was just boring and stupid. Okay, I'm sick of this fucking fight. I'm going to fucking kill you even if it means taking your fucking butter knife sword. Issei shouted at Astros as he launched himself towards the general to deliver a powerful punch in the gut. Astros kick Issei in the right jaw of his face, sending him flying 10 meters away from him. Issei's sacred gears continue to glow even more and he rushes at Astros, who smile evilly with his hand still holding the sword. Two boosts give Issei the strength to punch Astros in the face and in the gut, making the general spit blood. Astros is already frustrated that his other half, a mere fallen angel with 2 sacred gears, can become stronger than him. That's it. I'm going to fucking kill you and take your body for myself. Astros shouts angrily at his opponent. Who's going to fucking die right here is you. Issei shouts back at his opponent. The two launch themselves at each other and they continue to exchange powerful blows as it echoes throughout the Mindscape. Issei try to kick Astros, but the general evade with a smile and he kick Issei in the gut, sending him flying 20 meters away from Astros before doing a backjump to stand on his ground. Astros launches another attack like the one he used against Issei a few minutes ago. Okay Astros, where the fucking hell did you learn that? Start talking or I'm gonna shove that sword of yours and rip open your fucking skull now talk. Issei shout angrily at his other half who raise an eyebrow in confusion. You're a fallen angel who has 2 sacred gears and father issues, but you can't figure this one out yet. Well, let me tell you what's the name of this technique of mine, it's called Jutsuga Tenshu. What do you think Issei-chan? Astros explains to Issei who widens his eyes in anger and shock. Issei clenches his fists in rage and Astros start to laugh evilly. That's the worst fucking name that I've heard in my shitty life. Here, catch this, general. Issei shout angrily as he throw a spear made of pure light at Astros who widen his eyes in shock and he deflect it with his sword. Astros feel tremendous pain from deflecting the holy spear and Issei widen his eyes in surprise. Since when I could do that? Will that work if I use Dragon Vritra's abilities against him? Issei thought to himself before having this idea. Son of a bitch. He threw a holy spear at me. This can't be happening, I will not lose to a mere fallen angel. Astros thought angrily as the pain leaves his body. What's wrong, general? Cat got your tongue while your friend who was reincarnated is too busy sucking your wife like the slut she is. Issei says to his opponent arrogantly. Astros clenches his sword in anger by the fact that Issei dare mock Anos with those words. You dare mock Anos with your filthy fucking mouth, I'll fucking kill you right where you stand, Issei. Astros shout angrily at his other half. Issei stay on his fighting position and he launch himself towards Astros to punch him and kick him in the face, sending him flying 40 meters away from him. Astros dashes himself with his sword to fire another Jutsuga Tenshu at Issei, who evades himself from Astros' attack. Issei returns to his fighting position while Astros begin to charge Jutsuga Tenshu once again. Suddenly, Dragon Vritra link mentally to Issei who's still in his fighting position, wondering what will be his next move. Partner, I have an idea. Use Vritra's absorption line and delete field and I'll use transfer against Astros, that way, you might be able to win. Drake thought mentally to his host who nods. Issei followed Drake's plan and Astros' abilities are right now negated. What the fuck did you do, you piece of shit? Astros asks angrily and Issei flips him off. What the fuck I'm gonna do is fucking erase you from existence so I can finally get my revenge against Shemhazai. Issei shouted at his opponent. Issei then thrust forward the 2 gauntlets which is Dragon Vritra's souls towards Astros as he begin to charge 2 attacks which multiple boosts and annihilante, to which it has a pitch black purple flame on his right hand and a ball made of red light. Issei smiles at the fact that he has now the upper hand against Astros and he's not missing this opportunity. Take this. Dragon shot and blaze black flare. Issei roars as he fires his new attacks at Astros, who widens his eyes in shock before evading and realizing that Issei take his sword. Son of a bitch. He wasn't aiming it at me, he took the sword from my hand. Astros thought angrily about the outcome of this battle. Issei swings the sword to which killed him and the fact that Astros was fighting him against. Do you think by holding my sword like a fucking instrument you'll actually kill me? Think again, Issei-chan. I'm your other half. You'll need me one way or the other and we both know that you can't defeat Shemhazai in this state. Face it, it's over. Astros shouts at Issei who dashes with such tremendous speed with the sword that killed him. Yeah, you're right about one thing, Astros. This is the end for you. Do me a favor, go join your fucking ruler in hell. Issei shout angrily as he stabs Astros in the chest and 2 auras from Issei and Astros begin to collide. Issei widen his eyes a little before looking at Astros with anger. Damn, that was such a badass move even though it was the dumbest way possible. Fine, I'll help you get your revenge against Shemhazai if that's what you so desperately wish for. Could you do this one thing for me? When we fight against that piece of shit, you better not die by his hand, Issei-chan. Astros says to his other half before the Mindscape begin to overtaken by a flash of blinding light and the darkness. Issei start to scream as he fall into the darkness where he think that this was the end for him. Time skip. Rias and her peerage members were waiting for Issei to be free from the cocoon and awake from his slumber. Akeno was still holding on to Issei's cocoon, hoping to herself that he would wake up and tell her about what happened. Hiba was still sitting in shame about the recent events that the Gremory heiress informed him about Issei's demise. Hanako was eating her sweets, and Gasper was still in her card box, while Rias was still concerned about Issei and Akeno's friendship. Then all of a sudden, the cocoon began to crack as a hand which turned into a fist began to punch the cocoon, and the other hand is holding it like a door, and there is a body beginning to move, and its hair to which its color is brown, but longer. Rias and her allies get up from their seats and decide to observe the person with a concerned look on their faces. Who are you? If you're here to cause trouble, leave the orc now. Rias says as she begin to charge her POD and her allies prepare for this onslaught they're able to have. Who am I? Don't fucking act like you don't know me, Gremory. That person says with disgust and hatred as he lifts his head up to look at the Gremory heiress and her peerage members. And that's none other than Issei Hayadu, who is now free from the slumber he was in. Akeno begin to cry uncontrollably and hug Issei, who hugs her back, and Rias now angry before clearing her throat. Issei, that's not nice of you to hug a daughter of Barakiel, and I would like you to join my peerage so you can help me with my marriage with Riser Phoenix, which will be after the rating game. So are you in or are you out, Issei Hayadu? Rias says to Issei with anger and jealousy, and Issei spat at her words. You really think that I'm going to join your groups of weaklings? Akeno sighed. Think again, you crazy red-haired slut. I'll make this shit clear for you butcher Rias if that's what your weak-ass friends call you. I will not join you nor help you to deal with Riser, you're on your own. What's the word that everyone says all the time? Right, have a nice life and good day, fucking lazy failure. Issei says to Rias with cold venom, and Rias and her peerage members take a few steps back away from the so-called son of Shemhazai, expect Akeno who smiles at her friend's answer. Issei leaves the orc room and wave Akeno that they'll see each other tomorrow. He returns to his house, to which he then lay on his bed and enter the realm of dreams. End of the part 2. So how was this story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.